You're about to witness a seismic event.
You are now fucking with Skitbags Radio.
Get your protection, bitches!
Nah, we can't use that. Nah.
Hello out there in the universe. Welcome to Skitbags Radio. What's up, everybody?
Hi, Dad. How's it going?
What's up, guys?
Yo, this is Sailor Dev coming at you from Dash Studios in Hollywood, California. We got a treat for you all today. Well, let's just introduce who's on the show before we talk about that. You know, obviously it's myself, Sailor Dev, and over there DJing across the table, we got the lovely Gabster in the building.
DJ Gabby.
I love it. And back in the studio with us today, our good friend, Mr. Dominic Medina.
Yes, professional friend of our host, Devin Mueller.
And connoisseur of all things sci-fi and nerd.
That's true. That is true. I like to think of myself as a connoisseur.
You're a reference point when it comes to shit like that.
You're so calm, man.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm nervous. I'm also a fanboy of our esteemed guest today, his work. So
I'm a fan of Devin too. So
thank you guys.
He's like, I'm not a guest.
Yeah. Well, speak of the devil, we bring back the legend, the one, the only, John Omohundro.
Oh my goodness. Thanks guys. Hey everybody. My name's John Omohundro. I'm on a show called Bravest Warriors. I'm a voice actor. I'm an actor. I'm a writer now.
Yeah.
Like, officially, I can at least scream that. So that's
Congratulations.
cool. But yeah, do it all. 'Cause you have to.
Well, season 4 of Bravest Warriors is just now out, so you know we're gonna get into that in a little bit.
You're in a hiatus. You guys are in a season 4 hiatus.
We
right now,
just
right?
wrapped season 4.
Oh, okay.
Season 4 has 52 episodes.
But the second half of it, I believe, is premiering soon, or is it still?
No, it's still going. It's still going.
Okay.
They are releasing an episode every other week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Well, it's 2 episodes. It's 22-minute
2 episodes
time
at
slot.
once.
Yeah.
Right? 2 11-minute
So
episodes.
it's
Got it.
every other Friday.
I like that format too, by the way.
Yeah,
it's very. It's as a viewer, I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's light. It's enough to take in, and you don't have to get invested for an X amount of time to get involved in the show. It's fun. It's fun.
Well, before we get into Bravest Warriors,
Yes.
because I love that, we came on. I invited John and Dominic on specifically for this breakdown, and obviously, to promote Bravest Warriors. But I waited to do this breakdown for this episode.
Yes.
We are, and I know it's been going on for a while, ladies and gentlemen, breaking down Avengers: Infinity War. And a chill goes across the room.
I don't want to go. I don't want to.
I don't want to go there.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen it yet, spoilers, and what the fuck are you doing with your life?
Spoiler warning.
But before, I don't even know where to start this breakdown off, guys.
I called my mother today, and she was just walking out of the theater. I was wishing her happy Mother's Day, and she's like, "Man, just walked out of the movie. Boy, oh boy." And I'm like, "Yeah, a lot of death."
Well, at least you still have a mother after what Thanos did. So,
Yeah.
too soon? Too soon? No,
I like that. That was
I
great.
love you, Mom.
Happy Mother's Day, ladies out there.
Yes, we were recording this on Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Love you. Thank you for putting up with our shit. But back to Infinity War, guys. I mean, a summary doesn't even do it justice. I'm going to just go ahead and assume that we all, and everyone listening, has seen it or heard enough to know exactly some of the points that we're talking about. What did you guys think? Good, bad? I mean, obviously, I think everyone thought it was mostly good, but what elements, what stood out to you? What did you like? What did you not like?
I thought it was interesting that they tried very hard to make Thanos not look like a bad guy.
Yes.
That they were like,
great.
look, he's honestly just trying to make the universe a better place for everyone, but he can't do it for everyone.
They humanized him.
Yeah, and I was like, ooh, I get it. It makes sense. Why, the tenacity, I don't think really got through, but it's very interesting to see the. It would have been easy to be like, oh, there's a big bad monster trying to take everyone down, but they really tried to make that work.
No, well, I think. And you're right, because I think where superhero movies and hero stories in general often fail is they're one-dimensional villains.
Yes.
It's I'm bad and I'm gonna do bad things because I'm bad, and end of
Yeah.
the story. And I think that's where a lot of the times, a lot of the criticisms towards the MCU have been towards most of the villains. I mean, people really liked Killmonger and Black Panther a lot. And Thanos is really well done. And that's, I think, the villains that we relate with the most are the ones that can understand where they're coming from.
Well, I think, at least I did. I'm not going to speak for everyone else, but I would bet a vast majority of the people watching that movie went through it and were like, well, I see his point. Like, I can see where he's coming from. Or if not, you could be like, oh, man, it takes so much to, murder your thing that you love, your daughter, and as a sacrifice to better the whole universe is what his whole philosophy is. So on one hand, you're like, damn, that's cold. And the other part is, well, maybe he is trying to make it better. Just for the record, I disagree with him on all principles. But, the humanization of that character was great.
The way he went about it was painful. I think it was an interesting view on if you want to make any changes, people get hurt. I think, and that is a very, I don't want to get political with it, but that was a very political movie about like if you're going to do something for someone, somebody else suffers. And so it's just and it was like, instead of having to drag that out over X amount of time, he's like, I'm just going to do it at the snap of a finger. And I was like, I understand. That's really messed up and you can't do that, but I understand. It was a very rough movie.
And he called it mercy.
And he called it. Yeah. Well, and that it just makes sense. And I was just like, oh God, this movie is really good. Oh my goodness. And I liked how the characters all worked with it. I wish I would have seen I'm surprised we didn't see more of the other superheroes side with him. Because I feel like he would have rallied some support in that cause, because he was so passionate about this one enterprise, and I feel like the people like Loki specifically, I felt like was a kind of an out of a place death in the beginning of the movie. Sorry, spoilers, but we're past that point now. Yeah. I felt like he would have been trying to secure his place on the side that doesn't get evaporated.
Yeah,
we saw that for a moment.
Well,
right?
He was out for himself.
Yeah.
He was out to do whatever the fuck he wants.
To kill him with... Thanos punches out the Hulk, and he's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stab him. Right in the heart. Right in front of his face. And I was like, okay, this is a bit...
Well, do you think he's really dead? I mean, I know Thanos said no resurrections this time, but do you think it's a trick, or do you think he's dead?
So. I think everybody that's dead right now is dead right now. I think that I'm sure they will do... I'm sure we'll get some time stone action and it'll go back.
That's exactly what I was going to say, man. Yeah. I mean, just what they did with Vision. They set it up right there before they actually killed everyone. As almost like an answer to this problem that's been created.
Yeah.
Tony will figure something out.
Well, he has to. Isn't that your theory?
It's because Strange gave up the time stone, so Thanos wouldn't kill Tony. So it's got to come down to Tony somehow. And back to your point about how getting people over to his side, I guarantee you, because remember he was like Stark, and he's like, you know me? He's like, I too am cursed with knowledge. So I'm sure we'll get a true sit down between them. Because Tony Stark is someone who could very possibly see things from Thanos's perspective. Whereas Cap is the never is it okay to sacrifice one life even if you're saving.
I felt like that was a bit. I mean, they needed it. They needed someone like that. And Captain would say that.
They have to.
We don't trade lives.
We don't trade lives.
Yeah, it's like a opposing philosophy sort of thing.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll get that conversation between a real philosophy.
You know what's interesting is that was his last movie that he was contracted to do, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, you're right.
And so there's a very real chance that we won't get him back in another one. I'm sure they'll bring him back because there's no way you're going to turn down X million dollars. So he got offered when he first initially signed on to the MCU, that's what we're calling he signed on for X amount of movies. And he's done X amount of movies. I thought for sure they were going to kill him off. And then Bucky was going to take his place because he's got a huge order of movies, a huge obscene amount of.
And he wants to direct now more, I think, too.
Oh, really? So they'll probably give him to that'll probably be how he gets them. But when they killed Bucky off, I was like, okay, now I'm like, wait, what what is happening? What is like that? That was the biggest shock because I thought for sure Captain was dying.
Well, because they skirted it in Civil War, which
Yeah.
in the comics he died at the end of Civil War.
Honestly, that's why I loved Captain America was because he was the most mortal out of all the superheroes. Like he dies and gets replaced.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, Captain America is not a superhero. He is an icon, essentially, for the people. Yeah, a symbol of hope, essentially. And I was like, oh, I love this.
Well, and then in the trailer, they know what they were doing. And I talk about the Russo brothers' genius, because if you go back and you look at the trailers, they showed us stuff that actually wasn't in the movie. They showed us Hulk charging down the field in Wakanda, and
they did it on purpose.
He never had the Hulk come back out. Like they played with our emotions.
They talked about that in an interview.
Yeah,
I saw like a behind the scenes where they broke down a whole scene, the scene in the Guardians where Thor comes in. They broke that down, but they were in the conversation. They said, "Oh yeah, we wanted to throw the fans for a loop because you know why wouldn't wouldn't they?"
And they definitely held that image of Captain.
Oh yeah,
being like about to be crushed, and he's like, "Rrr," and I was like, "There's no way you're gonna out."
I'll tell you what, I knew people were going to die, and going into this movie, I 100% thought Captain was going to die.
I really did. I thought that was going to be the emotional, like, leave off. But then, I don't know. I wasn't expecting
he's got to come back, because you know now the story is going to be, Captain, it was you that was the cause of him succeeding. You were the reason. Because you said you wouldn't trade one life, that this all happened.
Well, I'm sure.
If you would have just said, okay, and you know, like, what does that do to you when you're like, I am the cause of half? Because you know he's gonna feel responsible, because that's
why he had that line.
The last line. Yeah, correct.
The last line was, "Oh my God,"
Yeah.
because he knew.
Yeah. Oh, that movie was so good.
That's actually that's a good point.
That was so good.
Yeah.
It took me out of, I was taken out of belief when they killed off Black Panther, though.
Well, I think he's gonna.
Been so popular.
I think he's gonna come back, and
that's the thing. But that if he didn't die, if everybody else around him was because we know that there is another Black Panther movie coming, like we know that. So when he died, I was like, oh well, they're all coming back, obviously.
Well, Spider-Man has a sequel already.
I saw them filming Spider-Man 2
Yeah.
after I watched one of the Infinity movies, like one of the second times that I saw, and I was like, whoa, wait.
Well, also there are multiple like dimensions of.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So we don't know what will the fourth movie be? Like, what will they set up? Will they just reset it?
I think we're going into another universe, like one of Doctor Strange's. Honestly,
have you guys heard of Marvel versus Zombies?
No.
I've seen some.
Is this like Pride and Prejudice versus zombies?
No, because once we start jumping into different dimensions, like basically the Fantastic Four find a way to open the portal to another dimension.
Is there a new Fantastic
and one dimension
Four?
is
They
one of those
Fox.
Yes, they just. And one of the dimensions is like zombies. So like when the zombies eat a superhero, they get the superpower. So they become like this super zombies. It's very.
Marvel's
Is the MCU turning into like Rick and Morty, where we're gonna have multiple?
I mean, it could.
That's what I feel like they might set up, because if they're smart enough, and Phage has done a really good job. Like if they set it up in a way where it's like, okay, now we're gonna look at it from a lens of like the multiverse. So these stories can be told in a variety of ways.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what they'll set up.
I mean, it would be another like threat that everybody has to deal with. Do you know what I mean? Because like at this point, we're getting to like, where do you go?
Yeah, Thanos, yeah,
killing half the people in the universe.
Like honestly, I'm surprised that we didn't get Galactus, because they ruined Galactus in the first.
They did him all wrong. They made him a black smoke monster. Yeah, that was awful.
But
well, isn't Warlock coming too?
He's coming in the third Guardians, which is also coming out, which begs the question if Gamora's death will stick as well.
R.I.P. in peace. That's my girl, Zoe. So sad.
I love. She's so good in that.
Yeah, she was great.
I love that they made her kind of like, they gave Scarlett Johansson her moments, but Gamora was definitely the female lead of that movie.
Her scene with Thanos, I think that was one of the darkest things Marvel's really done.
In which one?
When he got the Soul Stone, when had
that's pretty rough.
When she had that realization that it was her.
Well, wasn't the movie not rated?
No.
What?
It had to, no way.
You can't.
Really?
I don't know. Fact check that.
Can movies not be rated?
No.
Yeah, they can be unrated.
Really?
They can't get fucking global distribution under Disney for Marvel. I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, because so many people died. Like, and there was so much death in that movie.
They didn't die; they just disappeared.
Yeah. Well, that's what the other running.
A
The
couple
other
people
running
died.
theory is that they're not actually dead, and like because one of the only stones
Maybe he just moved
that
them
they,
to another
one of
place.
the only stone that they really didn't show like how its power manifests is the Soul Stone. And in the comics now, it wasn't always this way since the stones have been around, but everyone thinks that everyone's soul went into the Soul Gem. So it's like the whole half the universe's being is like in the Soul.
It is the biggest stone.
Yeah.
That's why it's on the top of his hand too,
Yeah,
right?
is it the one right
and it's
there?
the
If
most
you could-
costly to get.
If you could have one of those stones, what one would you have and why?
Reality.
Reality stone.
The reality stone was the most badass thing that I saw. I was into
I mean,
that.
I would just be fucking around with that all day. But I don't know, man. I'm a big fan of Doctor Strange, so if I can learn how to use the time stone like he does, I'd
I'd be
probably go
scared
with
to
that.
use the time stone. I think.
I would. I'd just like jump back and be like, "Oh, fuck this up. Redo it again."
And we're back. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, that was a pretty crazy. Man, all of them. I don't know what the Soul Stone actually does though.
Well, that's what I think we're gonna discover. Originally in the comic books, it was kind of like a almost like a heart sort of thing, like to kind of control like the emotions of people. But they've kind of turned in the comic books, they've turned it into almost like it's its own pocket dimension that harbors souls and everything like that. So they're thinking that maybe everyone's just kind of like
In the
spirit
purgatory
sucked
type
into
of-
like this
type of-
purgatory, and they're not really dead, but.
Oh,
Who
that
knows?
would be interesting. And they're like, if we're in another dimension, how do we get to the other side? We know that we're physically here. Can we make it? Dude, they should have killed
when
out.
Marvel goes Stranger Things.
No, it'd be interesting. I mean, the thing is, they can do anything that they want. They can do anything.
They've set it up that way.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, I've really liked everything about the Guardians that was inserted into this movie, because every time you cut to a scene, especially when the scene was just focused on them, the whole dynamic of the film changed. There's a background track of popular music, or
Yeah,
some-
Rubber Band Man played.
Yeah, Rubber fucking Band Man played with, like Jesus, that's awesome. And also the color patterns. If you look at the frame ups, it's all bright, it's comical, it's light, so it added like this levity to the whole movie in some of these tense parts that Marvel pulls off really, really well. You gotta give them credit for that. And one of the things that I'll take from Kevin Smith that I heard him say, it was a good point, is Marvel doesn't take themselves too seriously, unlike some other comic books that are very, oh my God, this is the end of the world,
Our good friend Deadpool's gonna make fun of that in his next movie.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait for that either.
So, do you think Deadpool will be in the next one?
I honestly thought he
That
was
would be
gonna be in
fucking
this
dope.
one. I genuinely thought he was gonna be in this one.
Well,
'cause
they didn't
Ryan
acquire
Reynolds
it
tweeted
by then.
something.
Oh yeah, they didn't have. Well,
They didn't have it by then. They got it now.
Oh, dude,
But they already filmed it.
They're
They already
I'm
fucking
sure they did
filmed
a
the second
pickup.
one.
I
so-
guarantee you there's a nod to the Avengers thing. Though. Well,
no, Avengers is
In the
already filmed. The
commercials-
Deadpool they can do whatever. They're
Deadpool
more
already
flexible.
makes a nod to it in the commercials.
yeah, and Ryan Reynolds released like a thing on his Instagram or something about him Deadpool applying to the Avengers and getting denied by Tony.
That was one of their marketing bits. But like, how hilarious and meta would it be if, like, for 1 second, as like a post-credit scene for Avengers 2, it's like Deadpool and Cable, and like it's like Cable and Thanos. He Brolin, right? Opposite, I don't know. Like, they could do silly shit like that with Deadpool. I don't know if they could get away with that silly with Avengers, because there's more of a set, like, I don't know, set
just
plan, set
fishing.
line.
Dude, so at the end of the next one, because the second part 2 is probably the final.
Yeah, it is the final. I thought
It's
there
the
was
final-
3,
it's
but
the final Avengers, but there's gonna be more.
Why are they stopping the Avengers?
Well, I don't know. It's just like what you've been saying about like Chris Evans and Chris Hemsworth and all their contracts. They're definitely gonna stop after the next.
Oh no,
We won't have them anymore.
You can't do the
So,
Avengers.
Disney
I don't
doesn't-
know.
by
But they
the
could do
way-
a new Avengers like with Spidey and like a few other different people.
by the
Hawkeye.
way, so everyone knows out there, Disney, with the exception of Robert Downey Jr. and maybe 1 or 2 others, Disney does not pay their Marvel superheroes as much as you think they do. They don't on purpose, and it's on contract. You can go look up the figures, but most of the reason why a lot of well-known celebrities do these parts is because of the exposure for relevance, and it increases their value as an actor for other projects. Like the whole reason Chris Pratt got $10 million for Jurassic World was because he was in Guardians of the Galaxy. Right. Wouldn't have done that. Like, so it's a matter of price thing, because Disney and Marvel are, from a business standpoint, are like, look, we know this is going to be a hit. You can join it and be a part of it or not and take it or leave it. And most everyone's going to be like, well, yeah, let's do it. You know, obviously. And so I think that there's this like a lot of confusion because all we see is the headlines about like how much Iron Man made, how much, you know, that franchise has made. And even now with Avengers, what is it, over at $1 billion worldwide, Bill 5 right now or something like that? It was like 400 domestic and 900 international or some shit. Those numbers are crazy when you're talking about, okay, you got how many celebrities, like B-list celebrities are in this movie? 20?
I mean,
10 mil a piece? Yeah. I mean, that's 20% of your profit right there is just, you know, fucking paying your actors, not to mention all the filming, the posts, and like, it's got the bill for this fucking movie alone, it's got to be 100. I think just in the tech stuff.
Yeah.
But you're right. I think the only people who got a substantial amount for this movie are RDJ and Scarlett Johansson, because she's a top billed actress right now. I read that she got paid a lot, even though she had such a small part in the movie.
I mean, honestly though, everybody had their moment.
They gave everyone their moment.
And I thought they did that very well.
Groot's moment, I was like, when is Groot gonna come into play? And then he did, and I was like, holy shit, this is it. That's how he comes into play.
I was grabbing Devin by the shoulder when when Thor ported in. He was like, "Bring me Thanos!" Like I was like,
This is a point I brought up after I bring up Groot. I was like, okay, so Groot just disappeared right at the end. Well, did his fucking arm on that axe disappear? Because like I was like, maybe is it not him anymore and it's permanent on that weapon or what? Because I guess we'll find out. But I was
know what? You know how I would argue that now it is a god weapon,
right?
That makes it's not affected by the things that like.
It's not living anymore either. So it's all living things in the universe.
I don't know if any of you saw this tweet, but the voice actor who plays Groot said that his last line was "Dad" when he saw Rocket.
Is it still played?
It's still Vin Diesel. Is it
still Vin Diesel?
It is Vin Diesel.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Even when it's alternate.
I don't know.
It wasn't.
But
Vin
Diesel's expensive as shit now.
I think it was the director that said that was the last thing that he said.
That's what it was.
Like, that was what Groot was saying
to Rocket.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, fucking maybe they'll just redo the Guardians as the next group of different heroes. Vin Diesel's expensive as shit now too. Yeah. Fucking Fast and the Furious Mongol over there. God damn.
We can only wish for a Fast and the Furious.
Yo, I'm not hating, bro. You got those checks. I'll be a Fast and Furious all day. You'll cast me?
That's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah,
Fast and Furious franchise. Yeah,
they got a bunch of rides now at Universal, so they got to make sure those rides stay.
What how about motherfucking cliffhanger at the like? This is why they bring everybody down with the murder of half the universe and fucking Thanos, and you're just sitting there like, oh god damn it, now what? And then Fury at the end, bringing it home, motherfucker, and Captain Marvel. Like, I am freaking out, so stoked about this Captain Marvel movie.
I don't know anything about Captain Marvel.
I never. That
was not a superhero that I ever like followed.
Me neither until recently. Until I knew how significant she is.
So I know there have been so many iterations of characters over the years. So I know there's someone out there that's probably nerdier than me that's going to call in and correct me on this.
Really quickly, before we dive into this, was the red guy who was with the Soul Stone, is that the Red Devil
Skull.
From...
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Skull. However,
Red Skull.
Interestingly enough, Hugo Weaving did not do the voice.
No.
Like he did when he performed and he was so great as the Red Skull. But
But if it was only for that cameo, I'm like, all right, I get it.
And he's not about like those big things. Like I've heard interviews about him talk about being Agent Smith, Megatron, Red Skull. He's not that. He's like, it was just a job. Very interesting. A brilliant actor, but he's not like, he doesn't get hyped on the nerdy stuff. So
lame
Hugo.
They're like, you know who that voice actor is though that did the Red Skull this time? He's probably freaking out. He's like, guess what I just did?
Yeah.
He did a good job. It sounded like
Yeah.
whoever he did was great impression. But anyway, real quick. So Captain Marvel, one of the most powerful superheroes in the Marvel universe. She's kind of like the Marvel universe's Superman. She can survive in the depths of space. She can fly. She's super fast, super strong, shoots laser beams out of her eyes, the whole 9 yards. And originally, Captain Marvel was a male character, and it comes from the Kree. Are you familiar with like the Kree? They're an alien race in the Marvel universe that the Avengers fight plenty, and they're like the blue aliens. Ronan the Accuser in the first Guardians of the Galaxy, right. He's a Kree. They come on Shield a lot. They fuck with the agents of Shield a lot. But it's Kree technology that basically just makes her like think about a Captain America, but like times 100 for the universe. Like she can just do almost anything. And Kevin Feige has said that she is going to play a huge role in the next Infinity War.
Does she get her own movie before?
She does.
Yeah.
So she's
March.
Yeah, in March of next year, like 2 months before the next
They're
Avengers.
a machine. They are a machine, and they know how to do it.
Fucking Ant-Man and Wasp is this summer.
Yes, and they're both going to be set. Captain Marvel is going to be set in the 90s. We're also getting Clark Gregg back as Agent Phil Coulson for the first time in a movie.
Yeah.
Since he did the original run of the first 5
Wait, he's
movies.
doing his own movie?
No, he's going to be in Captain Marvel as a
yeah.
representative of S.H.I.E.L.D., like young Agent Phil Coulson. So
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that because I don't think S.H.I.E.L.D., they haven't renewed S.H.I.E.L.D. yet, and it's really late. So I don't know if S.H.I.E.L.D. is coming back. But anyway.
No way they can't, though. I think it would be really good if they got S.H.I.E.L.D. and they started wiping people out on the show. And then
Well, that's
kept
what
it,
I'm saying.
kept
What a
it
good
in line
cliffhanger.
with what's going on right now because you could get away with that, especially on a show like that.
It's happening. I mean, they're talking about the events in New York and Wakanda. It only has 1 episode left in this season, and it's good. And I'm hoping like we get like a stinger at the end where it's like they're like did this mission for the season and then half the team just dissipates into ash. Fucking awesome.
Oh, dude, that would be so. Well, that would get people to watch the show, and then it's just that it's the machine, man. The fact that they're like, all right, you want to know how we sell a movie? We get people excited about a specific character, like Captain Marvel. Bam, her movie is going to make $1 billion now because everybody's going to be like, who is coming to save the day?
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's so good.
Well, this is another reason why it's like Black Panther ain't dead. They're gonna rewrite some shit because that's too big of a paycheck, man. There's no way.
Yeah, or they bring back Killmonger, and then they're like, oh, and you are now the Black Panther.
Well, that's why. I really don't know. What are the implications? Like, is it gonna be a simple reset, or will we get like? Will it be a way for them to set up different variations of the characters?
Like they go back in time. They they pull it back and they go back, and then it's just like, oh, Thor is different. Everybody's different, but
Well,
they're all the same.
Saying. What if it goes
all new
back?
Actors?
What if it gets reset before Tony became Iron Man, and then they can retell those stories again? They can use the same actors if they want. They can use different actors if they want. Like.
Well, that makes sense. And we were talking about this
if
because
they're setting it up to make the case.
Well, yeah, think about it. MCU started with Iron Man and Tony Stark. Like that's where the popularity of this franchise, movie-wise, came.
First Iron Man was amazing.
Yeah, it was.
We were not expecting that movie.
He was perfect. Yeah,
he was perfect. And it was great. And then now they're setting up the conclusion to all these. What is it, 18 movies in 10 years or some shit like that? All the culmination of this. It's now implied that it's all relying on Tony to fix it. So it almost could just be like, okay, what if Tony made different choices and went back and didn't make weapons, didn't build the Iron Man suit, and knew what was going to happen, and maybe like when Thor's hammer comes, he just grabs that shit and throws it right back up to the universe or some shit. You know, like he could. There's a million ways, but as a structure wise, it would make sense. Especially think about it, Infinity War.
Yeah, infinite.
It's going infinite, and I have a feeling that the next Avengers, the part 2 is going to be called Infinite Avengers.
That would
make the most sense.
Well,
I don't know.
So they're all about the synergy now, and I don't know, John, if you keep up with the comics at all, if you have time, because I know you're so busy. But like, they're in the crossover event they're doing right now is, it's called Infinity Wars.
Like with a Z?
Plural.
Oh.
With a Z. Wars.
Is it not called Infinity
Dragon Ball
Wars?
Z just like comes.
It's called the movie's
Infinity
called
War?
Infinity War. The comics are called Infinity Wars.
because I know it is Infinity Wars, and so I was like, that would make a lot of sense if it was just a loop.
They're pulling in multiple stones from multiple iterations of different universes. So I feel like if they're going to do synergistic stuff,
what if they go
in the
to other
comics and
dimensions to
movies,
try to make their own Infinity Gauntlet to fight his?
Yeah.
That would be
Pretty dope.
See, but what happens if he just is like, you know what? Like they get to the point where they're about to kill him, and then they're like, the damage is done. And the world is a better place. Let's just destroy the gauntlet and be done with it.
We could see the ultimate universe, I think. You know, what if we finally got to see Donald Glover as Miles Morales? He's in Solo this summer, in-house.
I don't know.
Disney.
I don't know.
But I'm saying they could just show a flash of it.
Have we been good as a species to deserve this? Is the real question. And I don't think that we are in a place. We are not advanced.
He's Simba. He's
Is he
already
gonna be
there.
Simba?
Yeah,
he's
he's
the voice of
Simba.
Simba.
Oh, that's
Shout
so
out my
awesome.
man Donald.
Dude, you know that this very well,
Beyonce.
this very
Young
well
and
could
old? Is
happen.
he
I
gonna
didn't
be
even
both?
think about
Old.
that being.
Just awesome.
Beyonce.
They're all in the
is
same house
Oprah.
too. Because
you know-
right now, everything's Disney's taking over the world. It's Disney and Netflix. You know, that's the next cartoon parody we should do. Shout out to any animators out there. Give me a Disney versus Netflix. Just the logos going at it. That's all I want. Just the
Disney,
companies.
Disney and Netflix.
Yeah.
Have you seen the meme of like it's Mickey Mouse holding the Infinity Gauntlet and it's like Fox, Marvel, Star Wars. Like, and I was like,
That is awesome.
and I was like, oh, that's pretty good.
That's really good.
That's pretty. Yeah, but he's got all of them. And he's like,
Seriously, the fact that they acquired Fox is just that's unprecedented.
They're taking it.
Wait for you know who my favorite Disney princess is now?
Who?
Ripley from Aliens.
oh yeah, she is a
they got
Disney
that
princess.
they got that franchise as well.
Yep.
Forgot.
Everything Fox. It's crazy.
Jeez, it's gonna be such a good. But
What other big ones did they get other than the Marvel ones? They got another really, really big franchise.
probably is Godzilla 21. Is it Fox?
It is, but I'm not sure if they got that one. Anyway, but
So it wasn't just like a whole thing. It was just specific brands.
they got almost their entire
Movie division.
They mostly are just the news network now, but I'm pretty sure they didn't get everything. Like I don't think they got Empire. I don't think they got
their
some of
TV
those
stuff.
shows.
I don't think they got their TV
Not
shows.
just their movies.
It's so they have their news, Fox News, and then they have like Fox, the network, and all of their shit.
Okay.
But they just fucking gutted their TV lineup.
They did.
The Mick is gone.
Mick is gone. Brooklyn Nine-Nine
No,
is-
they picked it back
picked
up.
it
They picked it
Yeah.
back up.
They
There was
say
too much-
yeah.
Or
There was
Fox
too much
did.
trauma.
Well,
Yeah.
there was because I was going to say Netflix or someone was going.
I
to
thought it was.
grab
I thought
that
it may have been
They
NBC.
didn't.
I think I saw.
It got
No,
picked
Fox.
up.
Fox renewed it.
Fox did it?
renewed
Yeah,
Well,
Fox
'cause at
renewed
first
it.
they canceled it. Last week they canceled
Yeah,
it.
I know. And then the internet broke.
And they
then,
canceled Last Man Standing, which, I mean, cult following, but Last Man Standing has been prevalent for 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah,
Is
I
that
wanted to be on
Or
that
not Last Man
just
Standing,
so
I'm sorry,
bad.
Last Man on Earth.
Oh, well.
They're
Last Man
bringing
Standing is
back
the one
Last
where-
Man Standing though. They're doing a reboot. Like
That's why
they
it was
did
in my head.
Really? Oh,
Roseanne.
man.
Yeah.
Well, no, Last Man on Earth. I had a hard time watching that show too. That show was hard.
Well, I like the.
Cringy moments. It's very hard for me to watch.
Yeah.
Like when I have too much information and people just make the worst decisions ever. Yeah.
Does that when you watch shows, are you able to just watch as a viewer, or now that you are writing and performing and you know that rhythm and you have all the how is that different? Do you have how does that as a viewer?
So when you're looking at a movie from the actor or the writer or even the director perspective, you are breaking it down too much all the time. Like you're like, ooh, I like this shot, or ooh, I like the lighting, or ooh, the way he delivered that line was kind of weird. I wonder if someone made him do it that way, or and it's just this. It takes you out of it a little bit, and but other times it really makes the movie experience way more fun because you just see it, you see all of it instead of like, oh man, this weather looks terrible. I wonder how bad this shooting was. Like being in the snow, I'd be awful. I'd be like how's everybody feeling? Like this person looks pretty awful right here. It's probably because he's cold as balls. Like I don't know. It's just weird. It's just I mean you would understand this too.
Somewhat, but.
Yeah.
Not as much as you.
Yeah. Well.
I agree. I have to watch movies and TV shows from more than once, and that's how I get around that problem. I try to approach the first as like a fan with a completely open mind. That's like usually I go like with like a little smoke or a little drink and just like go see an epic movie or something. But then I always want to revisit it because then I want to look at it from the analytical, and then I'm thinking like, how much did it cost to do this scene?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So the trick that I have like trained is just to not care. Not care if it's a good movie, not care if it's a bad movie. You're going there to watch a movie. Like there are going to be flaws because like when I first was out here doing stuff and I realized that like no movie is perfect and there's always things that are like off and always like there's no like perfect performance. There's always these flaws like, oh, where's that plot hole? Like why didn't they just say, okay, Vision die? You know what I mean? Like you have to just kind of say, okay, enjoy it for what it is. And then you have a lot of fun. And I don't know if you guys have seen A Quiet Place yet.
No, but I've heard
I
great
have.
things.
Very good.
Amazing.
Very, very well done.
Except the one thing was, what is the weakness, written in all caps on that board that like they showed every once in a while. It was like, John, why did you have to write that?
Well,
that was the only
when
thing
you get
that
into
I
that
like got out
frustrated
of.
state, like you're gonna write a whole bunch of weird things, and like sometimes like
They would just zoom in on it at like awkward times. What is the weakness? We know the weakness.
the shotgun. No, you gotta watch the movie. It's pretty good.
It's really well done. Very tense.
Yeah, and nobody screams. It's very weird. It's like a weird way to do a horror movie. Yeah, but
it's different.
But I've just kind of sat back and just been like, I don't care if it's a bad movie. I still had a good time.
I think that's the best way to be a viewer of movies in general.
Of anything in general.
Of art. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you go back and do you watch finalized episodes when they go live now of Bravest Warrior?
Yeah.
I do.
What is that
Is
like?
hard. Because you have a vision of like what you expect. And honestly, as a voice actor, it's very hard because you have like the script, but the way that you think it is not going to be the way that someone else thinks it is, not going to be the way the animator thinks it is. You know, and so like,
and you're not in the same room.
Oh no, because half of us are in Canada and half of us are down here because it's now a Canadian show, and so it's an interesting process, and so not that it's like good or bad, it's just not what you'd expect. So like I like to watch it and be like, oh, this is an interesting view. You know what I mean? Like this is an interesting, but like, you know, you start to dive into, it's like any show, like, you know, like, oh, well, they could have been, I'm just very hypercritical because it's mine. Of
course.
So, you know.
Well, since the last time you were here, you are now able to announce that you're writing on the show now.
Yes.
So what is that experience been like?
Man. So writing, first off, I cheated. So writing on Bravest Warriors is easy because I know everybody backwards, forwards, and upside down. Like I could close my eyes and you just say, go into the mall, and I will tell you everything that those characters would do at the mall. You say, okay, they just, you know, fell down a hole and someone cut their leg. Well, it's probably Danny who cut his leg because Danny's the one who the bad stuff always happens to. You know what I mean? And it would probably be to impress a girl, and so now there's a girl there. And if there's not a girl, it's definitely Plum, and if it's not Plum, it's Beth. So it's like, the show just like writes itself, for me at least. I wrote my episode in like 2 hours. I took a plane ride, and we went back and forth in the room about like locking down the story and like locking down what you wanted, but the actual like writing of it so fast. I took it on a puddle jump from Portland to Los Angeles flight. It's like, oh, this is so much easier.
That's awesome. So is it so I'm guessing it's in season 4, the
yes,
episode you wrote?
Yes.
Do you remember the name?
That Ain't Working is what it's called.
That Ain't Working.
That Ain't Working, yeah. They were, I was like, I remember I walked into the room and I was like, I'm not doing a Danny episode. 10 minutes later, I'm doing a Danny episode. Yeah. No, but it's fun. It's fun. Writing on the show is a great time though. Like, I love everyone over at Frederator. Eric Homan is amazing. Benjamin Townsend, the show, the story editor over there right now, like / showrunner, is like, he's amazing. He like knows exactly what he wants, and he's very British, so it's very fun to just I love British people. They're so great.
Well, hello there.
Hello there. Yeah.
Sharp wit, which the show has so much of.
Oh yeah.
It's very smart.
Yeah, I love how you said that. For you, these characters are so well defined that they almost write themselves.
Yeah.
But so I was going to ask, when you go into an episode to write it, where does your inspiration for that episode come from? Is it like stuff that maybe happened to you in daily life, or like do you get like requests from producers saying, "Hey, we're looking for a Danny episode," or shit like that?
So essentially, like they would say, "Hey, John, we have come at us with pitches." They'd say, "Come to like 5 to 7 pitches of what an episode could be." Right? So like they're like one line, like, Danny, loses all his dough and has to find a way to like make more money to do whatever. You know what I mean? Or like Danny, or like the bravest warriors are at a halt when they confront their parents or something, you know what I mean? But really it's just their grandparents in disguise. Like it's just weird things that like you just these like little like 1-sentence pitches, and they're like, "Oh, we like this one. We don't really like this, doesn't really make us feel anything." And then I don't know. I had all of these episodes. There was like one episode that like I pitched that like we'll probably still have, about 2 planets falling in love. And like, what does that do? And it was like, how do you show that? And
that sounds
I
hilarious.
figured it out.
Like jokes with the physics and everything too.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Oh yeah. I went deep. And I was like, but then we ended up landing on this one episode that the episode that like became mine, and it was great. It turned out awesome. But that was like one of the ones that they were like, "Oh, this is an episode that we want on the show. Can we, can you want to write this one?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll write that one too." Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no, and it turned out really great. Eric, everybody on board was like, "John, I think everybody didn't expect me to be able to pull it off."
Well, granted, let's remind our listeners how you got the gig in the fucking first place.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know this story.
Is this the Australian voice?
Oh yeah. Oh goodness.
But you can go back, and I highlighted that on a clip. You can go check it out on YouTube and listen to John
talk
talk
to me,
about.
please send that
Yes,
to me. Yeah.
I will.
Oh man. Well, no. How I ended up getting on the writing team was on season 2. I walked in and I knew that we were going into a new season, and I walked in with a script in my hand, and I put it on the EP's desk, and I said, "Hey, I just want to let you know that I can also write." And I was like, "Take a look, not say anything, but when we come back, I know we're going to a new season. I want to be a part of it." And I like
Did like one of those
slowly walked out of the bed, like without changing. I was like, I don't know how to do this. And then they sent me over to Boom Comics. They like, at the time there was only like one writer, and it was pretty like all like this one guy, Brian Burns, who's also amazing. But so they sent over my stuff to Boom and said, "Hey," because they were doing Bravest Warriors comics, they're like, "You need to have John write one of these comics because he's great and he would be a fantastic addition." And so they called me in, and they brought me in for a one shot of called Tales from the Hollow John, where basically they were getting a bunch of writers to like do stories about Hollow John misadventures or whatever. And I wrote one about Danny trying to rebuild his old childhood best friend, which was like a fish that had died. And it went out of control and became like Godzilla, because it just like everything in the Hollow John, like it became sentient and tried to break and be free. And they're like, "Oh God, if it becomes wankership, it'll be a problem." And so they had to like kill it. And it was a fun thing. But that comic ended up doing so well. Loot Crate picked it up, which like pumped up the numbers to like 500,000 copies or something ridiculous.
Awesome.
And then I took and became like number 2 best-selling in the world as far as comics
of
May of 2015. And I was like,
Congrats.
whoa. So I took that and I was like, "Hey guys." And then like I started like making moves everywhere in the writers first, because I was like, this is the time that I have something like tangible that I can be like, this is me, But it was fun. And now it's just like doing it all the time. Now I'm like working on actual shows and like doing my own stuff and reanimating old franchises and like letting some die because they need to.
So, okay, I don't know if we had gotten there yet, but I don't know if you could talk about it, because last time you were in here, you said you teased us with saying like you've been working on something that you're like bringing back. Like,
I can't talk about it too much. I still can't talk about it.
Off air.
But the things that I have never had as much fun world building as I have with this. It's terrifying because every step that you take has to go through so many channels. You have to like
I can only imagine.
you have to like deal with the rights holder. You got to deal with the people. Like, you know, it's just like it's like almost political, and it's not really been a problem so far. And I think most of it is just like when you're trying to bring back something that's dead is just, do you do the show justice? Do you do the IP justice? Do you make people feel something? And I really think that people are going to freak out when this comes. And I'm just like, I'm so excited and I want to talk about this so much, but I am not at that place yet.
Okay, cool.
Table
Table it for me. Yeah.
Yeah, guys. Anyway.
Well, you talked about world building, and first of all, before I forget, let everyone know where can they find your comics? Where can they find the Bravest Warrior comics?
Boom. Yes.
All right.
Boom Comics.
There you go. But on to world building. Last time we were here, also, I know we keep jumping back to the old interview, but we talked. That day was my first time playing D&D with this motherfucker right here in his campaign.
When we first started, he was like, "Oh man, I've never played D&D. I'm huge D&D player." And he's like, "Oh, I'm actually going to play after the record." And I was like, "Oh, cool." And I was like, "Can I come?" And they're like, "No."
No, okay. So Dev invited you, and I was nervous.
This guy said no.
I was nervous because it's like a performance. You're a DM as well.
Yeah.
So it's like a performance, and so it's like a performance, and I got really nervous, and there was a lot on my mind. And I don't know if you recall, but my girlfriend was in an accident that day. While we were in the radio show,
I understand.
There was
you have
a lot
excuses.
of stuff.
You have excuses
you
for why, like, you know.
Now I feel worthy of John being in the game. Feel worthy. No, you got to come over and we'll do a character creation so you can jump in and help out.
I'm gonna play a Goliath. It'll be great.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Yeah, but it'll be like a Goliath bard. It'll be funny.
Okay. Yeah. Opposites.
Yeah, you know.
Like that.
I like to be big and clunky and like.
So much fun. The world of D&D has been much beneficial.
Have you been playing a lot?
Yeah. I mean, how much do we play? A couple times a month?
As we can. Usually twice a month. Maybe not. We haven't played in like a month because it's been so busy.
That's how it goes. I have my own I have 3 campaigns that I'm in right now.
Yeah, that's what you were saying.
And they're all like with a bunch of different people, and like my own that I DM, I've had to kind of like. We do it on Fridays, and Friday is just kind of a hard day to lock down every week. And like I'm finding that work stuff always comes up, and I'm like, oh, I have to do this event, and I can't really miss it. And nobody else can do any other day, so I'm like, then I guess we take a week off, and then it was just, and then another week off, and then I was like, man, it's been a month. Ooh, we gotta get back at this, or it just because then it kind of gets like the story gets kind of diluted. It's like if you're watching the Infinity Wars over like.
Yeah,
exactly. And you have, and I'm sure, because, oh God, the next session that we play, I have so much in store because we're getting all into his backstory BS right now. Like the villain that the party's facing is very personal to him. And I have all this stuff in store for him that's coming like next episode. And
you're not going to get there. He's going to be like, you're going to see all this stuff and you'll never get it. Because one player is going to be like, and then I set the house on fire. And it's like, well...
That's what happens.
Yeah, no, but that's really cool. That's especially when your GM plans ahead of like things that are really interesting. And that playing D&D, by the way, if you guys like to create and like to write, like to like just create, D&D is such a great way to do that. Especially if you like to like, if you like any kind of performance, if you like to be an actor or like to even just like, if you like to do plays as a kid, like playing Dungeons and Dragons appeals to that inner kid in you.
Oh yeah.
And you will become a better writer because you have to write. Like even if you're just a player, you have to write your character, you have to write your backstory, you have to like create your character. Like as far as an acting tool, like I'm about to start a I don't know, tell me if this is dumb. If I did like a Dungeons and Dragons like acting class. Like for kids.
No,
like,
that would be
get
great.
A bunch of kids around a table and just do like round table role play with just actors. Like just like
it's great.
Just like as a like workshop because it's gives you
social. It'll help them feel comfortable speaking in front of people they don't know.
Work on improv.
Work on like problem solving. It like helps so much in the real world as well. Like it's just. I can't believe I'm just now discovering D&D.
Well, it's like we said last time when we were talking about it. It's like it's one more thing for your friends to get together and do. It's a very social experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then every time you play, you're hanging out for hours usually, and really you get to know people, or at least their characters, I guess. But like you would like, damn, man, that was cold. You know,
Yeah,
some shit down.
I've been in some games for like a year, and I'm like, your name's not Rocky, right? What is your actual name? Because like we meet up and we're like all in character at the same time, and then we all disappear. And I was like, wait, okay, Rocky, it's not Rocky. What is your actual name? Oh, Steven. Okay, nice to meet you, Steven. I mean, but like it's gotten past that point with some of the people that I know that I'm like, ooh, how do you say?
You call them their character name.
Call them their character names because like you're in character like most of the time. Not with every group, but like.
No, of course. Well, especially like I'm sure. Well, you must have one group that's probably just like all actors or something.
Oh yeah, they're so good. They're so good.
Yeah. Gabby says she's gonna play. Her and her boyfriend are gonna start playing. She said.
We're amateurs.
Let's get it.
I don't even know the rules. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what you're even talking about.
It's really easy. Like basically one person paints basically think Devin is sitting here and he's telling us like, oh yeah, so about Infinity Wars. And then we start talking about Infinity Wars, and because you know what Infinity Wars is, and it's basically the same thing, just in a fantasy setting. And like you're making up what you actually know, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So like your character is like, oh yeah, I'm a little bit sassy. You just act a little sassy, and it's really easy. And then like he'll say, all right, well, if somebody looks at you from across the room, and you'll be like, I'm gonna give them the finger. And then they're like, roll an intimidation check. And then so you roll a d20, like you have a 20-sided die.
Okay.
And depending on like what you want to do, you'll roll that die, and depending on that roll will define how the events play out. So for you, it may actually like, you may scare some people because you do have that kind of like hostile vibe that I'm getting right now. And
Fierce.
I'm ready to ruin lives.
I'm ready to
I've
ruin
done it.
Lives.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Have you been able to incorporate any nods or Easter eggs from D&D stuff or board game stuff in Bravest Warriors?
You're gonna have to watch Bravest Warriors. Guys. But the answer is yes.
Okay.
The answer is so much yes that.
Well,
like,
I know there's a bunch of philosophies, and from the episodes I see, I would be like, oh, that's kind of like a callback here. But I didn't know. Did you have like a favorite one where you're like, oh, I'm really happy about this, or don't give it away. It's not released.
They're not like anything like, oh, we're gonna go play Dungeons and Dragons. But like if you look at some of the things, like we've all been sitting around a corner with pieces of paper and dice, like in the art of the episode. Like so it's like you're gonna see that kind of Easter egg.
Well, and that's what I love. I love just the influence that you guys clearly have, because the Bravest Warriors weapons, like they're all like spectral or like, and they're futuristic, so like they could have laser guns, but they all wield swords or axes, or like Beth has that like
cat whip. Yeah.
Cat
whip. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite episode so far?
So my favorite episode is actually your favorite episode.
With the mall and the beard?
Yeah, it's Fast Times. Yeah, it's an episode in season 3. I think it's like episode 5. All the Bravest Warriors go to a mall, and Danny has created a beard time machine. So he can like speed up or slow down his man as long as he wants, as long as he vows to never shave again. So, because like that's just how it works. And he's trying to pick up all the girls by having like crazy facial hair. It's just so funny. And like the whole episode was so well put together. And actually, that episode was originally a comic. It was originally in the comic book. The original writer of Bravest Warriors wrote that episode, but it was too long for 5 minutes. It was too long. And like, because Chris discovers there's like someone trying to bomb the mall, and like he's trying to like deal with that. Danny's trying to pick up girls. Beth is trying to get the guy from the
she's trying to date
cheese
some
place.
guy, right?
Yeah. Beth is trying, or Plum is trying to do her thing. It was all like, it was so big, and the way that it all turned out. So when we finally went to 11 minutes, they came back and were like, we're doing this episode, and they're like, absolutely, and it was the best one. I think of until that point, absolutely the best episode.
I love that one a lot. It's really funny. I mean, well, that's why I love Danny's such a good character. He almost has like Wallow has a lot of good tech too, but Danny is totally like the crazy inventor, like the Doc Brown or like Rick Sanchez.
I got
crazy inventions.
When I booked Bravest Warriors, I was upset that I wasn't Chris.
I remember you saying that because you tried out for Chris, correct?
For Chris,
yeah.
I worked so hard because I wanted to do romantic comedy, and I did not understand how much I got lucky getting Danny, because Danny is so much fun, and he's so much just me in real life that it just like all the calamity, and I'm just like.
Well, I think he sets. I mean, it's definitely like the team, they spread the attention around the team. I mean, Chris does have the whole emotion lord plot that's kind of like larger than life, and that's like the big larger than life plot going on. But I feel like Danny, right in the very first episode, he sets the tone because you got the bravest warriors are facing off against someone, and it's like how you know it's going to be different from Adventure Time. Like I forget what Danny says, but he just like flicks off the villain. Yeah, he's like, he has the first line and he's like, you, and like Chris comes in to calm him down, but it's like so perfect, and it sets the tone for the whole show. Yeah. Is that the first line, or does Chris say something first? I think the first line might be yours,
Bravest
right?
Warriors, he's like, oh, you kind of look like doors. Well, if you don't want our help, then up yours. Yeah, it was like pretty quick. It's like, oh, we're sorry. Yeah, I think we're Bravest Warriors, we're here to help is I think the first.
Okay, but still, no, it like really sets
mine,
the
mine
tone.
is the mine. I do have the first line. It goes, where we got a red honk. Yeah, it was the red honk. We've got a red honk.
Yeah, and within 5 seconds, you're flicking off the villain.
Yeah.
And it really kind of sets.
It wasn't the villain. That was the kind of the shady.
It was the person you're helping. That's right. You guys were trying to help someone.
We were a bit angsty, to be fair. But no, after writing the show, I fell in love with Wallow.
Wallow's a great character.
Wallow became my favorite one to write because he's always where you need him. There's always this like weird space, like when you're writing, like you're like, oh, I've got this like perfect idea, and you start to like actually put it on paper, and you're like, oh man, there's holes everywhere. You know, like how do we get from this scene to this scene? How do we get from this to this? And Wallow was just always right there. And he's like, nice. You know,
like a mechanic to like put more humor in, or to like
just his character makes so much sense that it you just fall in love with him. I remember when on my spec script that I wrote about this Bravest Warriors trying to hire a new Bravest Warrior to clean the house while they're gone, because they're like, nobody wants to do chores. And they're like, dude, if we just get another Bravest Warrior, that could be his mission, you know? And it was pretty funny. And they take him on a quest to like go stop this planet that's melting. It's an ice planet that's like heating up, and they drop this guy, and of course it's all just gets crazy. But Wallow falls in love with like this snow woman, and I was like, how do I like make this a thing? And he's like, yeah, I dated I took her to candlelit dinner at one point. Yeah, it wasn't a good idea, you know, like meaning that she melted. Well, they end up like smooching, and she melts to nothing. And he's like, not again. Like, he's just so fun because he can have just these like weird zany moments. Like, you can literally do anything with him.
He's I was saying to Devin before we came over, it's also interesting. And I also love Bravest Warriors because just like Adventure Time, and maybe even more so, it deals with kind of like the awkwardness of growing up, discovering your sexuality, what it is to love and be attracted. And I love how Wallow is kind of like this, like, he's attracted to machines, robots, aliens,
so
men, women.
Technically a xenophile. So he likes
only
aliens.
Likes aliens.
He's interested to anything that's cute. He doesn't care about gender.
He doesn't.
It's just like, you want to be cool and you want to hang out. Cool, hang out with me. You know, it's less like about like the like relationship aspect, I think of it, but more just about companionship with everything. And I think that's part of what makes Wallow a charming character on the show.
Well, the layeredness of the show is why I think it's going to succeed really well over a lot of other shows.
Well, you guys need to watch the new stuff, the new seasons. We went from 5.5 minutes to 11 minutes.
Before we came over, we just watched season 1.
We watched episode 1 and 2 of season 4. So the one that starts off and you guys are battling like that robot crazy guy and Danny has that weird radiation sickness.
Yeah, I'm sick. Oh, yeah. No, it's good. And it's interesting because we went to a whole nother studio, like everybody's figuring out like how to all work together, I think. And every episode, the show gets better and better and better because we've all kind of found our unified place in the machine of Bravest Warriors. And it's great, and it's like it's cool because like now you're seeing like the heartbeats of like everybody in every frame, and it's a magical experience just being a part of a show that we've been going for 7 years now.
Damn,
7 years, 2012.
Shout out!
But I think it's about to. I mean.
So your show's become more popular since you've been on, and more comics have become more popular.
Yes.
So have you seen that reflected in your fan base? Like whether it's online fans or when you go to comic conventions? Because I remember, have you been to any since you've been on? You been to some Comic Cons?
I went to Phoenix Fan Fest in Phoenix, and that was really great to see people like coming up. But we were just barely about to start airing the show. I haven't been to a con while the show has been airing because we've only just started airing a couple like
There are big fans
months
out there.
Oh yeah, no, but the last time I went to we went and did we did Comic-Con last year, and that was great. Everybody that showed up was so excited, and we just teased this new season, and they were like everybody freaks out. You know, I think that the transition to going from YouTube to Verve though is kind of a challenge for a lot of the people, because a lot of people that were on YouTube don't pay for content. So it's just harder, and it's just like a transition of understanding like, hey, we had to make this change to bring you the best thing ever, you know? And I think that it'll be interesting. I'm excited for next Comic-Con because I hope we go. I haven't heard, but I doubt that we wouldn't go.
Yeah,
I would be shocked because you need the fan integration. And every time I go, like everybody freaks out and everybody's excited. I remember my first year at Comic-Con, I was walking around the hall and I was like, oh man, like I hope we have people in there. Like we got like a room like way off in the back, and like it was like you know, it was like I think like 500 people could fit in, and I was like, I don't think we're gonna fit 500 people. We're just a YouTube show. And I show up, and there are people lined up, and they're like, oh my gosh, it's Danny. Oh my gosh. And I was like, what? And they were all lined out. And then I realized those are all the people that didn't get in. And I was like, oh no. So like only half the people got into the actual thing, but it was such a loving moment and an understanding that like people love this show, and also being Puppy Cat, which is another really big one for a Frederator.
Yes, I've had people talk to me. I haven't seen that one.
Oh no, it's actually really good. Natasha is the creator of that one, and she is fantastic. It's kind of like Sailor Moon meets real life. Like it's interesting. It's good.
Do you have an episode, now being a writer, do you have an idea for an episode that you would love to do, but you know for a fact that it will never get approved? Because I mean, I don't want you to risk, you know, spoiling an idea, but at the same time, I mean, like, is there a limit? Like, is there a concept that's too out there?
I had this idea of where it was really dark. It was so I love really, really, really dark things, but with the Bravest Warriors, I feel like Bravest Warriors could be like twice as dark as it is and get away with it because the characters are so bright and vibrant that it would make it feel okay. Like Infinity Wars, like the character, like Guardians of the Galaxy, very, very, very dark, but the characters are so bright that you don't notice. So I pitched an episode about mass suicide, and it was kind of it was a heavy topic. And
how'd that pitch meeting go?
Actually very well, but it was a not something that was like ridiculously like focused on. It was just kind of the subplot of the whole thing, and it was so good that I was like, man, if only we were a bit more adult, we might be able to get there. But it's one of those things that it just was kind of one of those. It was very much like Infinity Wars in the sense of like, it's pretty dark.
It's pretty dark.
But you know, that's the thing. Like, you have to let your mind go to like crazy places to find something that really, really works. And so like, you got to find the things that really, really don't work. Like, I can't kill off any of the other characters though.
Well, it depends. Well, the very first episode, you guys die multiple times.
We're not actually the real Bravest Warriors. The real Bravest Warriors like died in the first.
In the very
loop.
first episode, they die, and you're like the fourth or fifth iteration. They finally they saw like 3 sets of bodies.
Yeah, and they're like, no, we're gonna just leave, which I thought was a great starting episode of the show.
That first episode is insane.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
They're like, wait, it's a time loop. Oh, but yeah, you know. Just put some time clamps on it. We'll get back to you. They just left. Oh man, that was a really good. I love being part of the show.
Do you have a favorite moment from working on this show or a favorite experience? Like, what's been the most positive?
One of the most.
Happy thing?
Okay, so every episode is something new, and like you connect with people on another. Well, we had Joan Vasquez, the creator of Invader Zim, direct an episode.
Wow.
And I got to hang out and talk with him about Animal Crossing, and he's just playing as DS.
playing
And I'm
Animal-
like,
that's so cool.
he's the coolest person I know.
He's bringing back Zim for a few episodes, I heard, right?
Yeah, they're doing a special.
Yeah, they're doing like a special or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah,
It's
it's
been
pretty-
doing that.
Yeah, it's. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for that. I wish I could be a part of that project.
So did he come on to
Nick
write?
Gods.
Did he come on to write for you guys, or
Oh
just
yeah,
do a
he wrote
voice,
an
or-
episode and I believe directed an episode. I'm
Cool.
pretty sure he directed it too because it was
So
definitely it was the episode with the tentacle monster.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you mean the one where you guys go and the one that's like a really talky tentacle monster?
Mm-hmm.
That guy, voiced by what's his face, who does Master Shake?
Yep.
God's what's his name? Dana.
Yeah.
Forget his name, but
yeah.
very funny voice actor.
He was so good. And that
He's phenomenal.
I want to bring that character back because that character was hilarious.
a great character.
That hilarious. And I honestly
And you got a great voice actor for it. So.
That episode, I only had a couple lines in it, which was kind of poopy. But so I was like in and out, and that's why I got to actually hang out with him, which is kind of like, I guess it's like a double-edged sword. But it was a good moment to realize that, that was just so fun. That was just so fun. The characters in that episode, I loved his idea of what Bravest Warrior should be, and that was a very dark. Very, very dark episode.
Yeah.
Like that thing kills everybody that comes into his contact. It mind controls you. It was very like physically aggressive in the way that they like physicalized the people that they reanimate.
Yeah.
And like but it was so funny that it was in. But I loved the interaction of like Chris and Beth in that specific episode. We never got anything like that again, and I think we need to go back to like that like playful childlikeness. Those of you that don't know that show, you need to watch it. It's called Bravest Warriors. It's you can watch the first couple seasons on YouTube. Then you can go to vrv.com. There's like an app. It's pretty cool. It's made by the guys that do Crunchyroll, and it's awesome. That's my one plug for the actual show. So there you go. Anyway, we can talk about something else. I don't mean to like.
No. I was the
hog
one
up
that
your-
kept bringing it back. I mean, I was gonna say, whatever you want to talk about. Now we're just, we're kicking it because like we got an hour runtime on Dash or anything. We're at an hour 6 now. We can just keep going over.
Oh, are we at an hour? Are we at an hour already?
Yeah, we can wrap it if you want.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, guys, thanks for having me on. The
Why don't
show.
you plug? You got any social media or anything else you
Oh
want to
yeah,
plug?
yeah. You guys can follow me at Twitter at John Omohundro, and that's the same thing with Instagram. It's all just at John Omohundro. I'm really, really creative with my choice of handles. So just follow me up there. If you like cats, you're gonna see a lot of my cats. So because I train my cats to do really cool things. So they like.
What's your best cat impression?
I don't know. I don't do. Why did you get me to do
You
this?
don't talk back to your cats.
Dude, I just started this new job where I'm just doing creature sounds, and it is the weirdest thing. Like,
Really?
I
Ooh,
get-
make a creature sound for us.
Is that a Furby? What the fuck?
It's a bunch of things.
But they're like weird voices, and I just do this now, like for this one series, and I'm literally just coming in here doing like it's like Pokemon, but like I'm doing all the voices for the Pokemon.
You
And I'm
live
like-
the dream.
And I was like,
cool.
dude, and they're like, yeah, it's a 2-hour session, and I'm like, this is the coolest thing I've ever done.
So you're paying me to do this, right?
Yeah.
I'm just making sure
I'm
that's
just
what's
making
going
sure
on.
that the check is coming in the mail.
This is an actual thing. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. But anyway, thank you guys. for having
Yeah,
me.
dude.
I always
Oh
love
my
coming
God.
and hanging out.
We always love having you on, man. You're fucking a fan of the show. I know that we got some stuff we'll talk about because
Yeah,
hopefully we
absolutely.
can get down working together on some of these projects coming through the pipeline.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, I'm gonna close this out, but we're gonna get into some fun times after the show today. We're gonna go have ourselves a little Star Wars minis battle.
Star Wars Minis Battle.
Yeah, in honor of the Solo movie coming out.
I'm
Maybe
excited.
if you want to come back on, you want to break down Solo with us?
Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm so excited for that.
I'm excited.
Me
I
too.
really hope
And
it's
then
good.
Deadpool in 2 weeks. Just keep coming back every week.
Deadpool's going to be so good, too. So many things to talk about. This is a good time for, like, movie-going.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Everyone get a movie pass.
I think it may be too late.
Because
That's what she was saying earlier. Because
Yeah.
is it already?
It's slowly starting to go down.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they're just...
Not the same movie, right?
Their method... they are not making money doing what they're doing.
No.
And
Well, they had to like get
the-
subscribers and then start cutting, trimming the cost of overhead.
The subscription was $10. That is literally $8 cheaper than an actual movie ticket.
yeah. I don't know where you're going to movie where it's $18, but I'm sorry.
The Pacific, everything in
Dude,
LA.
I go to something called the Dollar Movie.
What? Where is that?
It's on, it's very North Hollywood, and yeah, on Tuesdays before like 6 p.m. you can get any movie for like $1.50. Pretty cool. But it's all the old ones, so you're not really gonna have a good time. But the Movie Pass is amazing. I really hope they stay around. I think that should be the way that it is. Like you should have like a.
They'll do some other iteration of that. This was like the beginning of some kind of new model that they have to. Otherwise, it's just like sports that can't.
Well, it's
put
like
people
Netflix.
in
Once
the
you have
seats.
that, yeah.
If you
it'll
don't
change
make
the
it
game.
cheap to get people to the movie theater, they won't go because they can just watch it in their own homes where it's comfortable and they have anything they want. So.
And most of the theaters make they make money off the concessions mostly anyway. So it's like, and I know that if I go to the theater, I'm not gonna not get
I
concessions.
have to have popcorn.
Especially if I didn't pay for the movie.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to spend $15 on concessions. And that's probably for, that's just me. And then I've got my friend and I've got whoever else is with me that is going to want stuff too. So it's just, they're going to make that money, but it's just, I think.
They gotta refigure it out.
I think it's the theaters having to understand and like have that conversation with Movie Pass and accept it because I don't want to be on that team. No. Anyway, thanks guys.
Thank you.
Hey, we're in the business of creating content. We'll leave all that shit to other fools who are in the business of business, and we'll just have fun.
That's the spirit.
There you go. Anyways, so yeah, let's go around the table. Dom.
Oh, well, if you'd like to, I actually have, last time I was on the show, I had 160 followers on Instagram, and now I have 230 followers on Instagram. So
We're bumping those numbers.
If-
Get those numbers up.
if you would like to become one of my lucky followers, you can find me DomJuan86 on Instagram.
Clever girl.
Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody else. My name is Gabby Shake at Gabby Shake on all my socials.
And as always, this is Sailor_Dev on Instagram. Got some plugs for you guys, friends of the show. First and foremost, you got to go check out First We Take Brooklyn, available now. You can check out the DVD. I think it's on Amazon, as well as The Clapper,
Which is on Netflix.
which is on Netflix.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm excited.
Check it out. Our boy, our fearless leader, Mickey Goose Jr. is in it, alongside with Tracy Morgan, Ed Helms, Amanda Siegfried, and Adam Levine,
A lot of there's
fucking
great
everybody.
names in it. Yeah.
Russell Peters. That was the last one. Friend of the show. Russell Peters is in it too. Check him out. Also check out Scrambled on iTunes. Scrambled movie starring our very own Black Jesus, who is who's not with us here today. He's him and Life and Neil the Great are doing some other projects.
President.
And we love them so much. And also, big news coming out. We got 2 shows from Skitbags on the up and up. They're already recorded. They're in post right now. Gonna be dropped in the next 2 weeks. We'll let you know exactly where you can find them, but I'll let you know the titles. The first one is Fight Dub, and I think next week I'm gonna bring some fighters on, and we'll talk some entertainment and fight. And John, I was gonna send you the invitation to Fight Dub because we do not just break down MMAs and professional fights. We do movie fights, we do cartoon fights, we do World Star Hip Hop.
Yeah, a lot of my friends
anything.
are big in the fighting scene in movies, like stunt guys.
Yeah.
So if you need those kind of guys too, I can
Absolutely.
I
Basically,
just learned how to do sword play, guys. I signed up for a sword class, and it's
A
really
sword play?
Yeah, I'm learning how to use broad swords.
sword. It's like the
Sword.
Schwartz.
It's a sword play.
I see your sword is as big as mine.
I
It's
like
fucking
it.
badass.
Well, yeah, so that's coming out. We got, every invitation. We got big names coming on that. And Gabby, actually, why don't you tell everyone out there the show that you're on?
Why, hello. Okay, I don't know why I keep saying that. I don't really talk to the mic very much, obviously. Well, not this mic. I am starting a podcast with some pretty badass ladies called BLTB, Badass Ladies of Today, bitch. And we're just gonna talk about some fun lady stuff. Being a woman in this century, it sucks, it's fun, and yeah, come play.
It's
Nice.
It's pretty dope. Yep, we'll be releasing both of those I think simultaneously because we already got how many episodes you guys got in the can?
We have
Like
about
4?
5 or 6.
We got 3 for Fight Dub, so yeah, we're going at it. We're bringing you new shit on a daily reg. Anything else we need to plug for? Oh, fuck yeah, friends of the show. Sorry, Nuwaza. You guys want to check out some dope ass clothes? Speaking of fighting, go to nuwazaapparel.com. They're good friends of ours. They make gis, rash guards, but if you're not into that, they make dope ass swag like this shirt
think
I'm
that
wearing
looks really
right
good.
here.
Looks really good.
Right?
Actually,
So,
yeah.
dude, their
Ooh.
graphics are amazing. They do a lot of street art style graphics and a lot of funny shirts too, like in Jiu-Jitsu We Trust and puns and stuff. Really, really cool stuff. So even if you're not in fighting, go check them out. They're pretty dope. And also, if you're in the California state or in the LA area, you got to go down to your local medical club and pick up yourself a 2020 High Effect pre-roll. Damn, that shit gets you lit. All of these are just friends of the show. None of these are paid advertisements. We just love them. So we want to deliver the stuff we love to the people that we love, you guys.
Aww.
Anyways, if you want to tweet at the show, it is at Skitbags Radio on Twitter. And email the show. You can send us some love, send us some hate. You want to ask us a question or even send us some nudes? Skitbagsradio@gmail.com.
Oh my.
And on that note, we're out.
Skitbags Radio.